Part 58. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 573. 571. He Jingyu is good at calligraphy. During the Chinese New Year, villagers took cut red paper and asked He Jingyu to write couplets. He Jingyu would also be asked to help with accounting during weddings and funerals, and gradually became the lifer of Kijia village. Secretary Chi asked He Jingyu to write Kijia Primary School, these 4 words, and then got 4 big stones, carved them on them, and painted them with red paint. You can see these 4 big characters from a distance, Kijia Primary School. April 1st is April Fool's Day, but it is also the day Kijia Primary School starts. Children, led by their parents, came one after another to sign up. Tuition fee is 2 cents. There is no charge for books. Most families can afford it, so many people sign up. On the first day, more than 300 people signed up, most of them from Kijia village. On the second day, there were more than 200 people, on the third day, there were dozens. After 3 days of registration, there were a total of 599 people, 1 person short of 600, and 12 classes. This is elementary school. The result of educational gaps. Teachers began to examine the students' cultural level and found that none of them could read, so children aged 7 and above were sent to first grade. Under the age of 6, all children go to the Yuheng class, which is divided into small class, middle class, and senior class according to their age. The children in the Yuheng class are relatively young, and adults from other villages cannot send their children. Therefore, more than 80% of the children in the Yuheng class are from Kijia village. Including the little ones from Hujia village, there are 260 children admitted. The children in the Yuheng class are small, with 40 people in one class, and a total of 7 classes. At least 7 teachers. There are not enough junior high school students and high school students in the village combined. So village chief found a few elementary school graduates from the village to become teachers in the Yuheng class. Chi Daniu is also among them, responsible for teaching the 3rd class of Yuheng class. He Tian is in charge of class 2, grade 1, and is a Chinese teacher, teaching pinyin and Chinese characters. Li Mingkai can play the accordion and is the only music teacher in the school. Wang Lei and Zhang Qingshan are mathematics teachers. Sister Wu, Yezai often teaches Chinese. The main reason why female teachers are used to teach Chinese is because female teachers are more patient. The final candidates for the principal were Principal Yang, an old teacher sent by the commune, and Secretary Qi, the vice principal. On the official day of school, Zhang Niansheng and Niu Peng came over, planted a few small trees themselves, and said some impassioned words of encouragement in front of all the students. From that day on, He Tian became a teacher. Huo Yingjia has nothing to do and works part-time as a physical education teacher. The woman sings and the husband follows. He Tian feels happy and fulfilled every day with her children, and she doesn't delay cooking for her grandma, mom, and dad, and grandpa Chi. It's summer vacation in a blink of an eye. The hottest time of the day is unbearable for adults, let alone children. There are 2.5 months of school, and 2 months of vacation. School starts on September 1st. In just 2.5 months, the child did not learn much. It was only half a semester, but the content in the first grade was very simple. In addition, the child was relatively older and basically knew the Chinese pinyin and addition and subtraction within 100. Law. There is another better place among rural primary schools. When the farming season is busy, they even take 2 weeks off to help the family production team. Watermelons were planted in the peach orchard. Seeing that they were ripe, He Jingyu picked 2 and put them in a bamboo basket and carried them home. The peach trees in the village have peaches, but as for the ones below, the people in Kijia village turn a blind eye. Seeing the watermelon, He Tian put the watermelon in the cellar and took it out to eat after dinner in the evening, and it would become cooler. Dad, what did Grandma say in the letter? He Tian asked, bringing dishes from the house and placing them on the table in the yard. Your brother's name, he's Haifei, and what your grandmother asked about you. He Jingyu smiled, he also said he wanted you to go abroad. He Tian glanced at Huo Yingzhe, who was not far away, and said with a wry smile, I'd better not go. I'll prepare myself for the college entrance examination next year. Haha, whatever you want, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future anyway. He Jingyu smiled and went to the house to ask Wang Shuping to eat. He held the child in his arms. The child is already 5 months old. He is chubby and very cute, but he is also very naughty and cries when no one is around. When someone is around, even if the adults ignore him, he will just play by himself without crying. Dad, let me hold him while you eat first. He Tian smiled and reached out to take over his chubby brother. He Tian held the child, while Huo Yingzhe took out the cradle for He Daodu's child. Let him stay in there, Daodu is very good and won't cry, Huo Yingzhe said, although his brother-in-law is very cute, but after eating, it is best to sleep in the cradle, which is cool and comfortable. Wang Shuping smiled and said, it's still cool in the cradle. I just told you not to hold it. Today He Jingyu not only brought back 2 watermelons, but also 2 crucian carps. He Tian made braised crucian carp, stir-fried eggplant, cold cucumber, and scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Although simple, it is much richer than in the city. After He Tian finished eating, he went to wash the dishes and squatted on the floor. For some reason, he suddenly felt that the food he had just eaten kept rising in his stomach, and he accidentally vomited it out. He Tian vomited out a puddle of the food she had just eaten. Huo Yingzhe, who was cleaning the watermelon, was startled. He quickly dropped the watermelon and ran over and asked, Tian, what's wrong with you? You're hungry. He Tian pushed Huo Yingzhe away and continued to spit out water. Grandma Qi-san and Wang Shuping looked at each other with joy on their faces. He Tian has been married for half a year and has not been pregnant. Wang Shuping is secretly anxious. After all, one of the reasons why Huo Yingzhe came to Kijia village with her daughter was to have a baby. However, there has been no movement for half a year. It is difficult to explain. Furthermore, if you are so young and cannot get pregnant for such a long time, then there is something wrong. If you have any questions, just take a look. She can tell her daughter, but Wang Shuping is too embarrassed to tell her son-in-law. Tian, tell me, when was your last menstruation? Wang Shuping asked directly, regardless of Huo Yingzhe's presence. He Tian has never given birth to a child, and she doesn't know exactly how many days a delayed menstruation means she is pregnant. He Tian was very excited when her mother asked this question, and she quickly reached out and counted with her fingers. However, there was Huo Yingzhe beside him who knew better than He Tian, saying, 53 days ago, your period ended. He Tian, Wang Shuping was stunned, but one day ended 53 days ago, so it was estimated to be 2 months. Yingzhe, hurry up and ask Dr. Wang to come and see if you have it, Wang Shuping urged, she couldn't wait. Oh, Huo Yingzhe pushed the bicycle in the yard and walked out of the yard. As they approached Wang Shuolian's home, Huo Yingzhe remembered that he seemed to be able to take pulses too. When I was nervous or excited, I actually forgot about it. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 574. Chapter 574 My own wife hurts herself. 572. But he knows medical skills, and only he knows about it, not others, so he should go find Wang Shuolian. Then Wang Shuolian came, and after taking He Tian's pulse, he said with a smile, congratulations, you are 2 months pregnant. The first 3 months are relatively fragile, so take care of yourself, avoid sexual intercourse, and do not do heavy work. Thank you, Dr. Wang, for reminding me, Wang Shuping said with a smile. Are you feeling well? The body is in good condition and there is no need to prescribe medicine, Wang Shuilian said, packing up the pulse pillow and putting it in the medicine box. Wang Shuping took out $1, handed it to Wang Shuilian, and said, "This is the medical fee, thank you." Wang Shuilian took out 50 cents from her coin purse and returned it, saying, "You don't need that much, 50 cents is enough." "Yingzhe, send Dr. Wang back," Wang Shuping said. Huo Yingzhe touched He Tianatian's hand and said softly, "Just stay at home and I'll be back soon." "Yeah," He Tiantian nodded obediently. He Tiantian put her hands on her belly and was very excited. After the spring festival, many people in the village became pregnant, but He Tiantian was not pregnant, which made He Tiantian wonder if she was infertile again. While going to Huai City, she secretly went to the hospital to see the doctor. There was nothing wrong with her and Huo Yingzhe. The doctor was also very funny and said, "Young people, just move more." What an image word, but they are very active and not pregnant. Huo Yingzhe was okay and didn't feel any pressure, but He Tiantian did. After all, he had kidnapped someone else's son and couldn't carry a baby in his belly. He felt a little sorry for his parents-in-law. "Now that I am pregnant, I have made up for the regret of not having a child in my previous life. At the same time, I have made an explanation to my father-in-law and mother-in-law that I did not kidnap their son back in vain. Now I finally have something to gain. Tian, it happens that we have a holiday now, and we don't have to go to school. Wait until evening and ask your father to go to school and tell him that you won't be a teacher and have a good rest at home," Wang Shuping said. "I will give it to your father-in-law tomorrow. My mother-in-law sent a telegram to tell them you were pregnant, so they wouldn't have to worry too much." Yes, I am also under pressure," He Tiantian sighed. "Fortunately, I have an explanation now." He Jingyu was also very happy, but he didn't say much about his daughter's pregnancy. He just said, "Have a good rest. Dad will get you more delicious food." A few simple words revealed He Jingyu's deep concern for his daughter. Huo Yingzhe answered, smiling from time to time, acting like a silly father as he became a father for the first time. Grandma Chi-san whispered to Old Man Chi, "Tian is a lucky child. If you follow Yingzhe, you will have no worries in your life." "That kid Yingzhe is indeed pretty good," Old Man Chi nodded, "much stronger than his grandpa." "Haha, if you say this, you won't be afraid that the younger generation will hear it," Grandma Chi-san said with a smile, "seeing the children growing up day by day, we are getting older day by day." "Yes," Old Man Chi exclaimed, "life is easy now, we have to live well and live a few more years." Grandma Chi-san smiled and nodded. Only in their 70s did they dare to live in the same yard, eat at the table together every day, and see each other well every day. That's it, pretty good. In the evening, He Jingyu personally talked to Huo Yingzhe. "Yingzhe, you must follow Tian when she wakes up at night, but you can't leave her alone. By the way, you are pregnant, so take it easy and don't hurt Tian with my children. I can do more at home in the future, so that Tian can be more relaxed." Huo Yingzhe nodded repeatedly and said, "Dad, I understand. I won't do anything wrong. I will take good care of Tian." "That's good." He Jingyu patted Huo Yingzhe on the shoulder, "My wife hurts herself. By the way, I will send a telegram to your parents tomorrow to tell them the good news." Huo Yingzhe thought for a while and said, "The month is a bit shallow, so we should wait until it stabilizes in 3 months. He Jingyu nodded and said, "That's fine, it's up to you." Huo Yingzhe returned to the room and saw He Tian retching, so he quickly poured a bowl of warm food. "Water," said, "drink some." "Thank you, brother Yingzhe." He Tian smiled and took a few sips. "Stop reading. If you're not sleepy, let's talk," Huo Yingzhe said, taking the book from He Tianatian's hand directly and not letting her read it. "That was all before, but now that I am pregnant, I still don't pay attention." Okay, I won't watch anymore, he Tian complained. Brother Yingja was no longer cute. Brother Yingja, do you prefer a son or a daughter? I like them all, Huo Yingja smiled, as long as they are born to you, I like them all. Huo Yingja thought that in 2 days he would go to the back mountain to find some things and refine some medicine for He Tian to make her pregnancy easier, more comfortable, and give birth to a child more smoothly. Hearing Huo Yingja's words, He Tian felt as comfortable as eating iced watermelon in the dog days of summer. Then when are you going to tell your parents-in-law? He Tian asked. It's only been 2 months now, and she wants to wait a little longer. In 3 months Huo Yingja was still relatively conservative, worried that if too many people knew, the child in his belly would be shocked. That's okay, you can make the decision, He Tian said. She must be careful to keep this child and give birth to it safely. This was her first child in her past life. He didn't tell anyone else, but he had to tell village chief Chi that because He Tian no longer wanted to be a teacher, he had to recruit new people. This is a good thing. Although the school is a bit troublesome, I am going to other villages to look for Tian, village chief Chi said. He Jingyu specifically told him that he had done this smooth favor. I'm causing trouble for you, He Jingyu smiled, grateful for village chief Chi's help. What kind of relationship do we have? We still need to say such things, village chief Chi said. Okay, if it weren't for you, our Kijia village wouldn't be so decent. Now Daowen County has obtained seedlings from us, although the peach trees are bearing fruit, but they are not as good as our Kijia village, which is like this. Secretary Chi gave a thumbs up, very proud. Brother Chi, don't think too much. The peach trees are all the same. I'm not cheating at all. The reason why the peaches produced are not as good as those in Kijia village is because the soil in the mountains behind Kijia village is the most suitable for the growth of peach trees. He Jingyu smiled bitterly, fearing that Secretary Chi would think that he had tampered with it. I know what brother he is like, so naturally I wouldn't do such a thing. No matter what, our current achievements in Kijia village are due to brother he's contribution. I will remember it in my heart, village chief Chi said, and then he saw the people beside him. There was no one else, so he lowered his voice, brother he, there is no one now. Let me tell you something from the bottom of my heart. Now Tian and Yingja are married. Yingja is from Nanxi. Tianation's registered permanent residence has been moved here. You can't let the young couple live separately in two places. You have to find a way to transfer Tianation's household registration back. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 575. He Jingyu was stunned, he really didn't think about this matter. Huo Yingja was at home all day, so he didn't take it seriously. Thinking about it this way, yes, when his son is older, he and his wife will go abroad. If Tian doesn't go, we can't stay in the countryside forever. Although I can take the college entrance examination next year, my daughter is pregnant and I may not take the exam next year. As a result, he would no longer be able to live with Huo Yingja. If you are young and energetic, it is not a good thing to be separated in two places. Brother Chi, please help me think about it. Is there any reason why I can be transferred back to the city? He Jingyu asked. He was busy at home all day and didn't know much about these things. Actually, it's very simple. Huo Yingja isn't a special unit. Now that he's married, he can just transfer his family members there. Secretary Chi said, there are still many people who deal with injuries and illnesses. That's unlucky, so we can't use them. Okay, I'll go back and talk to Yingja and let him find a way. He Jingyu is a bachelor. After all, his daughter married into the Huo family, and both the Huo family and Huo Yingja have the ability to transfer Tianation's household registration. In our village, educated youth are treated more favorably, So no young people from the city leave, but in other villages, many people leave for various reasons. Village Chief Chi whispered, also, I don't think this is a problem. Many people want to go back to the city. After all, the conditions in the countryside are not as good as those in the city. It is expected that the policy will change in the future. He Jingyu was slightly surprised. Village Chief Chi was really a shrewd man. He could feel the changes from these clues. For such a smart person to be a small village leader is a bit humiliating. Who knows, He Jingyu said, I just hope that things will be peaceful and that everyone can live a stable life. Seeing that everyone was silent, He Jingyu coughed twice and said, Yingja, Tian Tian is pregnant now. We will go abroad again next year. Have you ever thought about moving Tianation's household registration? Huo Yingja smiled. This was a matter for his father-in-law to ask about. Even if it wasn't, he still had to say it was. He said, this is easy to handle. I'll solve it. Okay, if you come forward, we won't be busy working in vain, He Jingyu said. Fortunately Huo Yingja is still thoughtful. This summer, Qi Zhengan graduated from university, and Qi Zhenmin, their brother and sister, returned to China together to visit Grandma Qi San. As for Qi Shuliang and Annie, they have other matters and cannot come over for the time being. Grandma Qi San was very happy to see her grandson and granddaughter coming over. The room where Huo Yingja lived before was given to his grandson, and his granddaughter lived in Qi Shuliang's original room. Qi Zhengan already knew about He Tianation's marriage, but seeing He Tian and Huo Yingja in love with his own eyes made him feel sour. In fact, last time, after he left here and chose to go to country M, he knew that it was impossible to be with He Tian. If it weren't for his grandmother being here, he would almost not want to be here. It's not that he looks down upon it, but that he's not used to it. He's at a loss here. Qi Zhenmin has grown into a big girl now, and is even more beautiful, like a doll, and said, Sister Tian, I'm sorry, I didn't come back when you got married. It doesn't matter, as long as you have this intention, He Tian said. She was very happy for Qi Zhenmin's arrival. However, I have prepared a wedding gift for you. You will definitely like it. Qi Zhenmin took out an exquisite small box. Inside was a very exquisite platinum necklace with a beautiful shape. It looked like this year's new model. It's so beautiful, thank you, Zhenmin. He Tian took it and put it on his neck. Does it look good? It looks good. Qi Zhenmin nodded. It suits you very well. He Tian gently stroked her belly and said softly, haha, now that the wedding gift is here, you have to prepare the full moon gift. Qi Zhenmin was stunned for a moment, but then he understood and said with concern, oh, Sister Tian, do you have a baby? He Tian nodded and said, yes. Great, I didn't prepare in advance, but don't worry, I will definitely prepare a big gift for you when I go back. Qi Zhenmin said, Sister Tian, your lover is so handsome, and you are so beautiful, you are truly a perfect match. We are so happy to have another little angel in our family. Yes, I also feel that I am very happy and lucky. He Tian smiled and said, what about you, what university did you get into? I was admitted to Oxford University last year, Qi Zhenmin said. I went to the UK to study and experience a different learning atmosphere. That's pretty good, He Tian was envious. Fortunately, she can go to college next year. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 576. 574. Qi Zhenmin's arrival made Grandma Qi San's house even more lively. Because He Tian was pregnant, Wang Shuping and He Jingyu had to work, so everything at home was done under the command of He Tian, Huo Yingja, Qi Zhenmin, and Qi Zhengan. Fortunately, it is summer, so there is nothing else to do except washing clothes and cooking. In Grandma Qi San's small yard, there are Grandpa Qi, Grandma Qi San, and little boy He Daodu. It is easier to take care of the children if there are more people. When the baby in He Tianation's belly was 3 months old, Huo Yingja telegraphed directly to Nanji and Yanjing, 3 months pregnant. When I got these 6 short words into Huo Jekan's hands, I almost cried with joy. He is going to be a grandpa too. Huo Jekan couldn't wait to share the news with his wife in the evening. During lunch, he went directly to his wife's hospital. Fortunately, it was not very far. When Zhang Lifang heard that He Tiantian was already 3 months pregnant, she laughed so hard that she couldn't even see her eyes. She laughed and scolded, "Yingja, this stinky boy, why are you telling us now? After all, the first 3 months were relatively fragile. Now 3 months have passed. This is for the sake of the child," Huo Jekan said with a smile, "but this is finally good news." Yes, Zhang Lifang smiled, "We are very busy now and have no time, but we can send more money and tickets from home so that they don't have to save." "Okay," Huo Jekan said, "I haven't eaten yet. We just want to go to the cafeteria of your hospital to eat something to cushion our stomachs." Zhang Lifang took Huo Jekan to the hospital cafeteria. Zhang Lifang is tall and slender when she was young. It was only after she was 40 years old that she gradually became fatter. In fact, she was either fat or plump. It's just that Huo Jekan is still so thin and tall, and with good looks, standing next to Zhang Lifang attracts the attention of many people. Someone who knew him whispered that it was Deputy Mayor Huo. While eating, Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang talked softly and gently, making them envious of those middle-aged women. Comparing the men in the family, it's really hard to compare one person to another, and it's so hard to compare goods. When Deputy Director Feng saw Huo Jekan, he was so angry that he didn't even take a few bites of food. Her family was the one who brought her and Huo Jekan together, but Huo Jekan, who was not very discerning, looked down on her and always liked the silly big guy Zhang Lifang. Seeing her aunt like this, Feng Qiao seemed to vaguely understand why her aunt was at odds with Director Zhang. When she was a child, she heard her mother say that her aunt liked a man, but that man didn't like her and married someone else, which made her aunt always feel unhappy. When Wang Bing saw Huo Jekan, he thought of the younger and more handsome Huo Yingja. Alas, it was just too late to start. Huo Yingja was already married. If she had known that Huo Yingja had such a family background, she would have taken action and left it to that annoying little woman. Zhang Lifang glanced at Deputy Director Feng, and then whispered, "Someone has lingering feelings for you." "Who is it?" Huo Jekan didn't turn his head, but looked at his cautious wife with a smile. "Feng Li," Zhang Lifang said, "just because of you, since we work in the same hospital, she has always disliked me, and I also dislike her." "Oh, it turns out it's her," Huo Jekan said, "we haven't seen her for so many years. Let me see if she has changed." "Don't look," Zhang Lifang glared at her, "she is not serious, so you are not serious too." "Haha, let me tell you, I'm going to be a grandma soon, and I'm still jealous," Huo Jekan said with a smile. His wife was nervous about him, not to mention how beautiful she was. Zhang Lifang suddenly thought of the many twins in Qijia village. She thought that He Tiantian had lived in Qijia village for such a long time, so maybe it was possible. Thinking of this, Zhang Lifang felt hot, and she forgot about Feng Li and said, "Lao Huo, do you think Tianation's pregnancy will be twins?" Huo Jekan was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "Whether it's twins or singles, as long as the adults and children are safe and healthy." "Hey, I really want to go and take a look now," Zhang Lifang said, "but I can't help if I go, and it will cause trouble for Shuping. We can't rest assured that Tiantian is in Nanji. After all, the two of us are so busy at work. It's better to be in Qijia village," Huo Jekan said. "Now that Yingja and Tiantian are married, should we leave Tiantian alone? Tian's registered permanent residence has been transferred back." "That's right," Zhang Lifang nodded. "Write a letter tonight and ask about Tianation's situation there. If she is willing, then move back. From now on, the child will have a household registration in Nanji, saving you the trouble of moving back and forth. Although there was no discussion in advance, both parties came to the same idea. Mr. Huo and Mrs. Yang of Yanjing were also very happy when they received the telegram. Like Zhang Lifang, she sent money and various bills to Huo Yingjia and He Tiantian, asking them not to wrong themselves. Some time ago, the eldest grandson's daughter-in-law gave birth to a great-grandson, and the old couple were delighted. When they heard that He Tiantian was also pregnant, they were even more happy. The Huo family was expecting another child. Only when branches and leaves are luxuriant can the family prosper. He Tiantian received a letter from her father-in-law and mother-in-law, and Huo Yingzhi replied directly, asking his father to find a way to move He Tianatian's household registration to Nanji, and stated that he would return to Nanji after the child was born. A summer vacation passed quickly. Qi Zhenmin was about to start school. Qi Zhengan had to work, so he had to pack his bags and leave. This is Qi Zhengan's sad place. The woman he likes has become someone else's bride, so he can't wait to leave here. Qi Zhenmin liked the family and scenery here and took many photos, especially of the child He Daodu. Before they returned to China, Bai Qianjiao specifically asked Qi Zhenmin to take more photos of He Jingyu's family. To this end, she gave Qi Zhenmin a latest camera and a large box of film. After her grandchildren left, Grandma Qi San was a little disappointed, but she was a free and easy person. It only took a day to adjust, and she was still the blessed old lady who smiled all day long. Qijia Primary School has started school, and He Tiantian can no longer be a teacher. Qi Daniu often came over to talk to He Tiantian about school affairs. At the same time, Qi Daniu also realized the importance of knowledge. She taught herself the knowledge of junior high school. When she encountered something she didn't know, she would come and ask He Tiantian. She worked very hard. Based on Qi Daniu's hard work, it is estimated that she will be admitted to a normal technical secondary school next year. Aunt Lu is very much in favor of her daughter becoming a teacher, and she is clean and respectable. Now anyone who wants to marry her has almost leveled the threshold of Aunt Liu's family. However, Aunt Lu now has a high vision and is slowly searching for her. Anyway, her daughter is not very old and she can keep her for 2 years. He Tiantian privately told Wang Lei, Sister Wu, Zhang Qingshan, and Ye Xiaofan that the news that they might take the college entrance examination next year asked them to secretly study harder. Huang Jingli is also smart. When she saw that everyone was studying hard, she thought it was to improve their teaching level. Later, when they saw that those questions were from high school, they secretly remembered them in their hearts and secretly studied them. If you don't know, just ask. Sister Wu and Ye Xiaofan are making rapid progress. After receiving so many tips, I worked hard to save the article and will update it on the 18th. Thank you to Happy Hekats He Shivi for the reward, and to other readers, thank you. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 577. Chapter 577. Oops, what a good thing. 575. Secretary Qi also noticed something strange and secretly came over to find He Jingyu. He Jingyu thought for a while, then spoke to village chief Qi in private, and said, Brother Qi, what I say is all speculation, and it may not be accurate. You just have to know what's going on. Brother He, you still don't trust me. Don't worry, even if the news spreads, it will be spread by me, Qi Dazu, not you. Village chief Qi is straightforward. As long as it is beneficial to Qijia village, he will find ways to do it. Haha, then I said it. He Jingyu smiled, look, the elementary and junior high schools have started classes, and the university is probably not far away. Isn't the university enrolling students? The second dog in our village was sent there through recommendation, Qi Dazu said, not understanding what He Jingyu said. He Jingyu looked around and said, Chi Ergu in our village graduated from junior high school and followed Professor Wang all over the place. Professor Gu studied for several months before going to college. With his own hard work, he could barely make it. Strong graduation, let alone other recommended students, may not be able to detect the shortcomings before, but when you get to work, especially in some science and engineering fields, it is not just about memorizing a few sentences, writing a few articles praising virtues, and being able to draw drawings. Solving practical problems. As a result, these college students cannot achieve the desired effect, and they cannot continue to do so, so the method of selecting talents will be changed. After hearing this, village chief Chi slapped his thigh and said, "Oh, brother he, what you said reminded me. Once, Ergu was drinking at my house and said that a college student assigned to the Huishi machinery factory with him, I couldn't even draw a blueprint, so I was looked down upon in the factory because I didn't work hard, so I took it as a joke, but I didn't realize the underlying problem. Yes, the country has spent so much effort cultivating people, but later found that the good and the bad were mixed and did not play their due role. Of course they will change," He Jingyu said, "don't you think so? Of course, just like when we grow crops in our fields, if they don't grow well, we always have to find out why. If the seeds are not good, just replace them next year." Secretary Chi made a very appropriate metaphor. "Yes, that's the truth," He Jingyu said. "Well, Wang Lei and Zhang Qingshan are also smart. Seeing that Tian Tian and Huo Yingjia are reading at home and often come over to copy the questions, they probably have some ideas in mind. Oh my God, if this is the case, these young people in the city and people in the village are all going to college and technical secondary schools. Then our Kijia primary school has no teachers, wouldn't it mean that classes will be suspended?" Village Chief Chi said. "While seeing the hope, we also saw the drawbacks." "Haha, that's true," He Jingyu said, "but you can also think about it this way. Now that elementary and middle schools have resumed classes, when things stabilize, many former teachers will naturally be willing to return to their old profession. The treatment in our Kijia village, you're still afraid that you won't be able to attract a good teacher." Secretary Chi thought about it, nodded and said, "What you are saying is, it seems that if I have time, I have to go to the commune and ask Brother Niu to help find excellent teachers. After all, those young people in the city and those in the village, the people here were also students before and had no experience, so they were just trying to cross the river by feeling the stones. Yes, we have good treatment. If you are a teacher from a distant place, we can provide you with a dormitory," He Jingyu said, "so once you plant the sycamore tree, you can always welcome the golden phoenix. Also, according to my guess, if after the talent selection exam is resumed, because there has been no exam for too long, maybe the questions in the first year are not difficult, so this is an opportunity." When Village Chief Chi heard this, the muscles on his face twitched. "Ouch, what a good thing. Brother He, I already know this matter. It's probably a bit inappropriate to blatantly ask everyone to take tutoring, but I can use the excuse of adult literacy to gather some motivated young people together and review them carefully." Village Chief Chi, he has his own little plan in mind. His eldest grandson is 16 this year. After reaching the 5th grade, classes were suspended. After completing the literacy training, it was estimated that I had graduated from elementary school. If I worked hard, I might be able to catch up with this good time. Now Chi Ergu is a role model in the village. Secretary Chi also wants his grandson to be a scholar and a cultural person in the future, without having to dig in the ground with his back to the sky and his face to the loess. As long as you have an idea, He Jingyu smiled and didn't take it seriously. More than half a year has passed since 1976, and it is estimated that formal documents will begin to be issued at the end of the year, or next spring. After Village Chief Chi returned, he restarted the literacy class in Kijia village. The teachers in the school, who teach children during the day, take turns teaching the young people in the village at night. Some people think literacy is enough and are unwilling to go, but village chief Chi doesn't force it. Learning this kind of thing depends entirely on self-consciousness, unwillingness to speak out, and without foresight, he can't control it. Especially the eldest grandson of village chief Chi. If he doesn't want to study, Secretary Chi will force him. He holds a stick on the side. If he doesn't want to learn illiteracy, he will be beaten with a few sticks. If he doesn't study hard, he will be beaten with a few sticks. Very harsh. Some people saw that village chief Chi was using sticks to let his eldest grandson learn, and they all had their own thoughts. In the hearts of the villagers, village chief Chi is a shrewd person, the kind of person who is only a few hairs less smart than Monkey. There must be a reason why village chief Chi put so much effort into letting his grandson study. So they came over to ask. Village chief Chi said that the child was naughty and could not be helped without teaching. This reason is a bit far-fetched, but it has led many parents to send their children to literacy classes. Anyway, if you follow village chief Chi and you have meat to eat, you won't go wrong. The villagers may not have great wisdom, but they have a very simple wisdom, which is to follow the trend. Not to mention, there was a wave of learning in Kijia village, which made several other village party secretaries in Kijia village notice the clues. They were very aware of Secretary Chi's tendency to be uninterested and unwilling to do anything early, and they also mobilized young people to come here to eliminate illiteracy. But because of the long distance, only a small number of people came to study. Village Chief Chi is happy to see this kind of learning and welcomes it. Just when Kijia Primary School was creating a wave of excitement in the school, Huo Yingzhi received a transfer order from the Nanxi Science and Technology Research Institute, asking Huo Yingzhi to report to the Science and Technology Research Institute within half a month. Huo Yingzhi looked at He Tianatian's slightly swollen belly with some reluctance. This was their first child, and he wanted to be with his wife and child. He Jingyu, He Tiantian, Wang Shuping, Grandma Chi-san, and Grandpa Chi were all here, unable to do anything about this order. It has been instilled in their hearts that country is greater than home. Without country, there is no home, so they could not say anything to ask Huo Yingzhi to stay at home and accompany He Tiantian. He Tiantian hopes that her husband will stay with her, but she is afraid of delaying Huo Yingzhi's future. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 578. 576. Compared to everyone's embarrassment, Huo Yingzhi made a decision after thinking. He would not leave the pregnant He Tiantian here, and he would not go back. He had made too many contributions before, and now he had the capital to be willful. Huo Yingzhi smiled, put the letter away, and said, "Mom and Dad, Tiantian, don't worry, I will reply to the unit immediately, saying that I feel dizzy from time to time and am still recuperating. I will delay it for a year or two." Isn't this bad? He Jingyu was very happy to see that Huo Yingzhi valued his daughter, but he was also worried that it would affect Huo Yingzhi's future. It's okay, Huo Yingzhi said, there are thousands of people like me in the institute, but for Tiantian, I am the only one. As for work, let's talk about it later, I don't want to think about it for the time being. He Tiantian is not ignoring the overall situation, but she just wants to be with Huo Yingzhi and doesn't want to leave. Old man Chi wanted to righteously reprimand Huo Yingzhi for only caring about his own family and not everyone else, but he suddenly felt pain in his arm. It turned out that Grandma Chi-san pinched him and glared at him, telling him not to talk nonsense. Old man Chi thought that He Jingyu obeyed him and Huo Yingzhi was also filial, and then looked at his empty sleeves, and stopped talking, pretending to be deaf and dumb. Wang Shuping naturally sided with her daughter and whispered, "Why don't you try it?" "Okay, I'll go back and write a letter now and send it out tomorrow. Huo Yingzhi smiled and didn't care. In the Institute of Science and Technology, Huo Yingzhi likes that kind of working atmosphere, but he likes to be with his wife more. If he goes to work at the Institute of Science and Technology and Tian Tian follows him, he will have to give up his life outside and can only live in a closed circle like the Institute of Science and Technology, but if he Tian Tian doesn't follow him, then the two will be separated and suffer from lovesickness, especially now that he Tian Tian is pregnant, he can't let go. Huo Yingzhi was very unhappy. He waited for 10,000 years in his first life and several decades in his second life, so now he didn't want to wait for a moment and didn't want to be separated. There are so many jobs, there will always be one suitable for him. He didn't want to neglect his family and children because of work. At night, Huo Yingzhi wrote a long letter and sent it back to Chief Engineer Sun and Zhou Yuanqiao. A week later, Huo Yingzhi's letter arrived in the hands of Chief Engineer Sun and Zhou Yuanqiao. Chief Engineer Sun, how is it? You can see that the boss is happy after getting married, Zhou Yuanqiao said with a smile. They are newly married, maybe the sister-in-law is pregnant now. With the degree of the boss's love for his sister-in-law, he will definitely not want to come back. After listening, Chief Engineer Sun sighed and said, it's a pity for a talent. However, Yingzhi also said that he is not feeling well, and he can be given more time to rest. No need to rush back. Zhou Yuanqiao smiled bitterly and said, Chief Engineer Sun, I have a feeling that maybe the boss doesn't want to come back. Ah! Why do you say that, Sun? The chief engineer was surprised. Did Yingzhi tell you what he was thinking? No, Zhou Yuanqiao shook his head. After I saw the boss last time, although he didn't look the same, I always felt that he was a little different. But I can understand that the boss worked so hard and was seriously injured and almost became a fool. Anyone would have their own thoughts. Besides, the boss is so smart. No matter what he does, he can do it well. He has many choices and doesn't have to do our business. After hearing Zhou Yuanqiao's explanation, Chief Engineer Sun was silent for a long time. When he was young, he returned to China with a passion, and his wife followed him back. After enduring so much exclusion and hardship, his wife suffered a lot. Now that I think about it, I don't know whether the decision I made was right or wrong. Hey, no matter what, we respect Yingzhi's choice, Chief Engineer Sun said. I will approve his request and wait for the day when he is willing to come back. As long as I am here, Yingzhi is welcome to come back. Zhou Yuanqiao was moved and said, Chief Engineer Sun, I will not go anywhere in the future. I will work beside you. Those fame and fortune look tempting, but people are treacherous. I don't want to be like the boss, who was hurt and disheartened. Chief Engineer Sun felt uncomfortable. This mission hit the two young people. Okay, do a good job, Chief Engineer Sun said. You continue to keep in touch with Yingzhi. Got it, Chief Engineer Sun. Zhou Yuanqiao agreed. After Zhou Yuanqiao left, Chief Engineer Sun immediately wrote back to Huo Yingzhi and stated the attitude of the institute. At the same time, he also implicitly stated that Huo Yingzhi's welfare benefits would not be reduced, so that he could rest assured to take care of his health. Huo Yingzhi was very moved when he received the letters from Chief Engineer Sun and Zhou Yuanqiao, and he felt guilty for lying to them. It was only when Huo Yingzhi turned around and saw his wife He Tiantian sleeping peacefully that he felt that everything was worth it. He Jingyu, Wang Shuping and others got the news from Huo Yingzhi and were relieved. They didn't have to worry about their daughter's pregnancy. Huo Yingzhi left here to go to the research institute. This incident did not cause too much confusion for He Tiantian and Huo Yingzhi. After the matter was resolved, they resumed their peaceful and fulfilling lives. The autumn harvest came in a blink of an eye. He Tiantian could eat peaches picked from the mountain by her father He Jingyu every day, which were especially delicious. Huo Yingzhi always left his share for He Tiantian to eat, making He Tiantian live like she fell into a honey pot every day. She had never felt so happy as now. In winter, the hot springs in the back mountains are no longer available. Everyone is very sorry that they can no longer take hot baths. It's definitely not fun to just heat hot water to take a bath at home. However, there is no use regretting it. There is still cold water in those big pits. After He Tiantian heard about it, she said to Huo Yingji privately, "The Snake King has been away for almost a year. I wonder how he is doing in the demon world. Haha, he can survive the 9 heavens' mysterious thunder, which proves that he is very powerful. With the skills I gave him, he will live well." Huo Yingji explained, "Don't worry. Why do you think of that little spirit snake?" "I hope so." He Tiantian was grateful. "I feel happier than ever before, and I am very grateful to everyone who has helped me. Especially the Snake King. It can be said that without it, I would not be as happy as I am now." "Yes, it was my fault before that made you suffer." Huo Yingji gently held his wife's shoulders. "It won't happen anymore. No matter what I do, I will put you first." "Me too," He Tiantian smiled. If it weren't for Huo Yingji, she might have been picked up by her grandmother long ago. The two looked at each other and smiled, saying nothing. Because of their mistakes, they realized each other's shortcomings and corrected them, so that they could achieve happiness in this life. So they cherish each other very much. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 579. 577. During the New Year holiday, Huo Jekan and Zhang Liping sent New Year gifts to Yanjing in advance and wrote a letter explaining the reason why they could not go back to Yanjing in person to celebrate the New Year. They were going to Qijia village to visit their daughter-in-law He Tiantian. At the same time, I revealed in my heart the recent letter from my son, saying that my daughter-in-law has 2 fetuses in her belly, twins. Regardless of whether they are men or women, they are very happy. No, Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang just took the holidays, so they brought all kinds of tickets at home. Knowing that He Tiantian likes to eat Xinggualu's dim sum, Zhang Lifang even exchanged a few tickets with others just to bring more to He Tiantian. The couple happily came to Qijia village to celebrate the New Year. When Zhang Lifang saw He Tiantian, she asked for help. "It's cold outside and the ground is slippery. If you want to go out, you must ask Yingji to help you, but you can't go out alone." He Tiantian nodded and said, "I know, Mom. You and Dad have been working hard along the way, so take a good rest. It's okay. We are in good health. You must not catch a cold." Zhang Lifang said, "By the way, I have brought you some medicine suitable for pregnant women. If you really can't hold on, you can use some." "Thank you, Mom." He Tiantian thanked her. After winter, she accidentally caught a cold. Huo Yingji gave her a red pill. After taking it, she felt better and no longer had a cold. "The children in my belly are now 6 or 7 months old, and they are still twins. Their belly is very big. Sometimes, when I get up, I need to hold my belly with both hands. Fortunately, she is in good health and the baby in her belly is also healthy." Because of the arrival of Zhang Lifang and Huo Jekan, Grandma Chi San's house was very lively. At the same time, when the old man in Yanjing saw that they were twins, the smile on his face did not stop. He quickly packed up his things and mailed them to Qijia village, and wrote a long letter explaining many things. Although the second son's family cannot come back for the New Year, this news is enough to make up for everything. Zhang Lifang and Wang Shuping prepared New Year's goods together, and this year was more lively than last year. Huo Jekan said to He Jingyu privately, "The higher UPS have been discussing whether to resume the college entrance examination to select talents. It is expected that there will be news after the New Year." "That's good," He Jingyu said happily. "Let's not talk about other places. Let's take Qijia Primary School as an example. There are only 2 grades, including the 2nd grade, and 12 classes. There are 7-year-old children and 10. The cultural gap among 23-year-olds is so serious that it has seriously affected a generation. Perhaps this problem is only revealed at the top, but in 10 or 20 years, the impact will be seen on ordinary people. Yes, I have often thought about your speculation, Huo Jekan said. I hope it can go smoothly. By the way, I am looking at Kijia Primary School, and there are people teaching there at night. Do I need to make up for it? He Jingyu smiled and said, those are not primary school students, they are teenagers over 15 years old, young people in their 20s. They are literacy, and some want to learn more. Yes, the village chief of Kijia village has a foresight, Huo Jekan praised. With this drive, it is estimated that many people will be able to pass the exam next year. Brother Chi is indeed a good person. Although he has selfish motives, he has really done a lot of practical things for Kijia village. He Jingyu praised that he was much better than those village cotters who only knew how to do it for their own homes and did not benefit the villagers. Father and father-in-law were chatting, and Huo Yingja was accompanying them, serving tea and water. Who makes him a junior? Yingja is here, I'm causing you trouble, Huo Jekan said modestly. His son has been here for a whole year, and He Jingyu has always been there to provide food, clothing, housing, and transportation. As a father, he must express his gratitude. No matter how good your friend is, you should say thank you when you need it. He Jingyu looked at Huo Yingja with satisfaction and said, Brother Huo, you are out of touch when you say this. I watched Yingja grow up, and I know exactly what kind of temper this child has. Besides, we are all a family now, why are you sharing this with me? I don't treat Yingja as an outsider. Then I'm not polite. We are all one family and don't talk about two families. Huo Jekan chuckled and said no more. This year in Nanji was not peaceful, but fortunately it has passed. Yingja and Tian Tian are here, Lai Fang and I are relieved and have nothing to worry about. We don't have much time to spend with Tian Tian and Yingja, He Jingyu said. Daodu is now 1 year old. When Tian Tian gives birth to the child and returns to Nanji, we should go abroad. Mother is alone, it's hard to live alone in a foreign country, and I have never been filial, so it's time for her to spend her old age in peace. Huo Jekan nodded and said, yes, it is not easy for the old lady to be alone abroad now. If you go there earlier, you can also let her enjoy a few years of happiness. Hey, not necessarily, He Jingyu smiled bitterly. I don't understand the company my mother manages. I can only tend fruit trees. I don't know if I can adapt to it after going abroad. Haha, you won't know until you go there, Huo Jekan said. Although I haven't gone abroad, I heard from my nephew that foreign countries are more developed than ours, especially European and American countries. When you get there, learn more and see more, and you can always adapt. If it doesn't work, you can only work hard for the old lady for more than 10 years. When your son grows up, you won't need to inherit the family business. Haha, that's right, He Jingyu said with a smile. This little guy arrived just in time. He Jingyu and Huo Jekan were chatting and laughing, and they were drinking. However, He Jingyu's drinking capacity was too poor and he was no match for Huo Jekan in the alcoholic battlefield. After a while, he was drunk and dizzy. After eating something casually, he was helped into the room by Wang Shuping. Because of the arrival of Huo Jekan and Zhang Laifang, the New Year was celebrated lively. On the 6th day of the Lunar New Year, Huo Jekan and Zhang Laifang had to return to Nanji. Although they were reluctant to part with each other, they both still had jobs and had to go back. Shuping, Tian Tian has to work hard for you. Originally, my mother-in-law should have done these things, but now it is all done by you, Zhang Laifang said guiltily, feeling very grateful to Wang Shuping. Wang Shuping smiled and said, Sister Laifang, Tian Tian is my daughter and Yingja is my son-in-law. How hard is it to take care of them? Besides, you are very busy working in the city, so I am relatively relaxed here. You don't have to go back. Worry, make sure you take good care of me. I feel at ease being by your side, Zhang Lifang said. When I get back, I will send you whatever good stuff I have over there. No, there's nothing lacking here, Wang Shuping said. You and brother Huo can't be wronged. You are in good health and have enough energy to take care of your grandson and granddaughter. The wages of the two of us have been raised, and our living standards have improved. If we give Tian Tian more and let her eat better, her health will be better. Otherwise, I will feel really sorry, Zhang Lifang insisted. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 580. 578. After hearing what Zhang Lifang said, Wang Shuping no longer refused. Now her daughter He Tian is not only the junior whom Zhang Lifang has watched grow up, but also her daughter-in-law, and Wang Shuping cannot stop Zhang Lifang from being nice to her daughter-in-law. Furthermore, Zhang Lifang's behavior also reassured Wang Shuping. Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang left, and Wang Shuping did not let them go back empty-handed. She prepared some mountain goods for them to take back. In Huo Jekan, Zhang Lifang had only been gone for a week. Secretary Qi came back from the county happily and went directly to Grandma Qi San's house. Brother He, you really guessed it? Now the university's open and unified admissions documents have been distributed to all parts of the country, Secretary Qi said. County Magistrate Niu told me privately that the scope of the exam is very wide. It selects talents in various fields, including workers and farmers, educated youth who have gone to the countryside and returned to their hometowns, retired soldiers, cotters and recent high school graduates. This was expected. He Jingyu was not surprised. He just felt that the time was more than half a year earlier than before. But that's fine, it's better to do it in advance than to postpone it. Education cannot be interrupted and education cannot be delayed. That's great. With the situation in our village, it is estimated that many people will take the exam this year, and maybe a lot of people will pass the exam, He Jingyu said with a smile, but have you considered that there are not enough teachers in the school? After all, many cities, all the young people who come here want to try their luck. At that time, there will be a serious shortage of teachers in the school. After hearing this, village chief Chi was not worried and said, you reminded me before, so I asked brother Niu to help me look for it. Now I have found 5 or 6 teachers for me, and I estimate that I will find 7 or 8 more teachers in half a month enough. That's good, He Jingyu said with a smile. Then you should quickly post the announcement to the village, Kijia Primary School. Village Chief Chi nodded repeatedly and said, I haven't gone home yet, so I came to you. You are right, I have to post it quickly to make those who usually love learning happy. Village Chief Chi left in a rage. There was only one copy of the announcement, and Village Chief Chi immediately copied one copy himself, posted one copy at the village branch, and the other at the door of Kijia Primary School. As soon as this announcement came out, it caused an uproar in Kijia village. Not only Kijia village, but even the whole country is talking about it. Many people see hope of returning to the city, and some are worried that their husbands or wives will not come back after getting admitted to college. Everyone has their own ideas. There is joy, there is disappointment, there is despair. When Wang Lei, Zhang Qingshan and several other educated youths saw this report in school, they cried with joy. As long as they were admitted to college, they could return to their hometowns. After getting off work, they came to Grandma Qi San's house by chance. Uncle He, Tian, thank you so much, Wu Lei said gratefully. He used to graduate from high school. Over the years, when he had nothing to do, he would come over and copy He Tianation's test questions and take them home. After going back and forth, Wu Lei has not forgotten anything he learned in high school. Now, Wu Lei is absolutely sure that he can pass the college entrance examination. Haha, no need to thank me, it's all you who work hard and are motivated, He Tian smiled, happy for them. Wang Lei, Sister Wu, Zhang Qingshan, and Ye Xiaofan have always had a good relationship with He Tiantian. As for Huang Jingli, she has become good friends with everyone since Lin Xiru left, and she had tipped off He Tiantian before. Although it was for revenge against Lin Xiru, it did help He Tiantian. He Tiantian hopes they can have a good ending. Zhang Qingshan was happy on the face, but a little disappointed and said, although we have reviewed, there should be no problem in the exam. If we are admitted to university, what should we do if we are worried about our children now? If we are no longer teachers, how will we support our family in the future? No, do you know if the tuition is expensive? He Jingyu was on the side, looking at the children who had left their hometown and felt very pitiful. Actually, if you can pass the exam, you can take your child with you and ask your reliable relatives to help take care of it. When he is 4 years old, he can be sent to the Yahang class, He Jingyu said. Maybe the announcement didn't make it clear. There is no tuition fee, and there are subsidies at the school. Ah, Wang Lei was stunned and asked in surprise, Uncle He, do you really not charge tuition? Is there any subsidy? Yes. If you don't believe it, go to the County Education Bureau and ask. By the way, it seems that when admitting students, priority will be given to key colleges, medical schools, normal colleges, and agricultural schools. After the students graduate, the state distributes work uniformly. You are not young anymore, you are almost 30. It may be a bit difficult to study other subjects. Maybe the teacher major is good, He Jingyu said. You must also know that in the previous 10 years, teachers, nurses, the number of people has decreased sharply, but our country has a large population, and these are urgently needed. As long as your grades are good enough, you can get into a good university and you will never have to worry about working in the future. Huang Jingli was okay, she was 1 or 2 years older than He Tiantian, but Wang Lei and others were about to turn 30. Let them study medicine, science, and engineering, etc., which are too complicated and may be difficult. It is indeed a good way to go to a normal college. Thank you, Uncle He. We will consider it carefully. Although we have not been teachers in Kijia village for a long time, Xiao Wu and I really like being teachers now. We have decided to enter the normal university in our provincial capital city, Wang Lei said. After passing the exam, it will be closer to my hometown. When the time comes, my parents will help take care of the children. If I work hard, I will be able to live a decent and desirable life after a few years. After Wang Lei and others were sent away, He Jingyu and Wang Shuping went to the livestock team in person, and happened to see Secretary Qi there. Secretary Qi is talking happily to Professor Wang and Professor Gu. Professor Gu, Professor Wang, now the university has started enrolling students. Presumably your previous Nanxi University has also started enrolling students, Village Chief Qi said. I heard from my in-laws that the universities outside are crazy about recruiting former re-educators. I am a university teacher. I have written 2 letters of commendation for your contribution to Kijia village over the years. I will send them to the Education Bureau of Nan City tomorrow. I hope they can give you priority to go back. After Professor Wang and Professor Gu heard that the unified national enrollment was announced, their eyes reddened involuntarily and they shed 2 lines of tears. They had finally waited. Qianshikan and Sun Sihao were very envious when they heard what Village Chief Qi said, but they were not teachers, they were capitalist roaders. They didn't know when they would be rehabilitated. After all, Qianshikan was involved in the underworld before liberation, and Sun Sihao's family ran a foreign business. Back then, those who wore gold and lived a wealthy life were the exploiting class. The social status is indeed not as good as Professor Wang and Professor Gu. After the first half changes my life, I will write about He Tianation's career, and it won't end so quickly. Omega, love you. Please subscribe for genuine subscription. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 581. 579. Seeing the disappointed expressions of the two people, village chief Chi said with a smile, "Brother Qian, brother Sun, I know you are also homesick, but there are still policies in this regard for the time being, but I think it's not far away. Just rest in peace, please wait here with peace of mind. As soon as there is news, I will also contact you and send a letter of commendation to your hometown." Qianchikan and Sun Sihao nodded and said, "Thank you very much, village chief Chi." Qianchikan wanted to go back because he had hidden a lot of treasures before. Only when he went back could he find a way to sell them and continue to live a good life. Sun Sihao was thinking about his wife at home. Although he was receiving letters from his wife one after another, he hadn't seen her for a long time and didn't know what she was like now. The villagers in Kijia village were even more excited, especially those whose children studied with those educated youths in the past. Those with better grades were likely to pass the exam. Many people think that their sons and daughters can be admitted to technical secondary schools or universities. Chi Daniu came over in the evening and took a small notebook. There were a few questions in it that she didn't know. "Sister Tian Tian, please tell me, I don't understand these things," Chi Daniu said. She often came over to ask He Tian Tian questions and was not as polite as He Tian Tian. The above are two math problems from the third grade of junior high school. He Tian Tian can do them and told Chi Daniu several solutions. Chi Daniu remembered it clearly and wanted to understand and review it carefully after she went back. "Daniu, what school do you want to go to?" He Tian Tian asked. Daniu Chi graduated from elementary school, and she has learned the content of junior high school in recent years. High school is too difficult. She has no foundation and hasn't learned it yet. Chi Daniu smiled and said, "Sister Tian Tian, I know my abilities, so I don't want to take the college entrance examination. I plan to take the entrance examination to the normal college in Hawaii City. When the time comes, I will be assigned to our Kijia primary school. It's close to home, which is good of. It's rare that Daniuchi doesn't aim too high. Yes, if you work hard, you will definitely pass the exam," He Tian Tian encouraged, hoping that Chi Daniu could change her destiny through studying. "I also believe it can be done," Chi Daniu said with a smile. "My mother is very supportive of me and hopes that I will be admitted to the normal school and help her gain a reputation." "I will definitely do it," He Tian Tian said with a smile. Aunt Lu is still a relatively knowledgeable woman. Originally, Chi Daniu's father did not support Chi Daniu's study. He felt that Chi Daniu might as well work more and learn more. What are those doing? No matter how well you study, if you get married in the future, it will belong to someone else's family. Aunt Lu had a quarrel with her husband at that time, and said in front of many people, "I don't care what happens in the future. Now if my daughter wants to learn, let her learn. I have been illiterate all my life, and it's uncomfortable to be blind. I can only wander around in the countryside, and when I get to the county town, I can't even find a latrine." Use the simplest feelings to educate Chi Daniu and others. Chi Daniu also worked hard. Since becoming a teacher in the Yahung class, her monthly salary and food have been given to Aunt Lu, which made Aunt Lu feel that her previous decision was correct. In fact, how could Aunt Lu, a woman who had not been out of Kijia village several times, have such knowledge? "But I often worked with He Tian Tian and often chatted with Wang Shuping, which broadened my horizons." Aunt Lu felt that women who had read books were different, so she hoped that her daughter would become a girl like He Tian Tian. "Sister Tian Tian, which university are you going to get into?" Chi Daniu asked. In her eyes, Sister Tian Tian is so good that she will definitely be admitted to the best university in the country. He Tian Tian smiled and said, "Nanchi University." "That's great," Chi Darniu said. "Sister Tian Tian, you are so good, you will definitely pass the exam." Work hard together, He Tian Tian nodded. After Chi Niu left, Huo Yingji came in from outside. Whenever a woman comes to see He Tian Tian, Huo Yingji will hide away. My father has already said before that he will register us in Nanji. Calculate the time. By then, our child will be 3 months old and the exam will not be delayed, Huo Yingji said. She knew that He Tian Tian had always wanted to take the exam. He went to college and had been working hard. He didn't want He Tian Tian to give up his inner thoughts because of his children. He Tian Tian smiled and asked, "What about our children? We both go to school, my parents-in-law are at work, and there is no one to take care of the children. I have already thought about it. When the time comes, I will find someone reliable to help take care of the child," Huo Yingji said. "I can't let you give up so many years of hard work just because of the child." He Tian Tian was slightly melancholy, and thought for a while and said, "Forget it, I'll pass the exam first, and we'll see what happens next. If I can't find a suitable person to help take care of the child, I won't go to school." "Why not go to school? You go to school, and I can take care of the kids at home," Huo Yingji said seriously. "It doesn't matter whether he goes to college or not. At least he still has a job. If it doesn't work, he can open a company when conditions permit. Still raising a family. Haha, let's talk about it then." He Tian Tian smiled, taking one step at a time. He Tian Tian and Huo Yingji are discussing here, and Wang Shuping, He Jingyu and his wife are also discussing. Tian Tian went to take the college entrance examination right after she gave birth. "Our daughter is so smart, it is inevitable to pass the exam." "What about the newborn child?" Wang Shuping said sadly. "Otherwise, we will postpone it again. 2 years abroad." He Jingyu didn't want to do this, but he couldn't bear the fact that his mother was old and had to work so hard. "Don't worry, those are the descendants of the Huo family, brother Huo and sister-in-law. They have thought more carefully than us, so you don't have to worry about it," He Jingyu said. "As for mother, we can't delay it any longer." "Yes, that's true," Wang Shuping said. "My mother-in-law is working too hard. Even if we can't help, we can make her happier by being by her side. That's it. As for Tian Tian, she has grown up and has her own life. If there are difficulties in life, she must face them by herself. Even if we are 100 years from now, she will be able to live independently and solve all the difficulties she encounters independently." He Jingyu said, "He thinks so. It's not that he doesn't care about his daughter, but the way he cares about her has changed. Now that my daughter has her own family and her own children, only by running her own family and raising her own children can she understand the hard work of being a parent and have greater courage and responsibility to face her future life." Seeing He Tian Tian, He Jingyu and others leaving closer and closer, Grandma Chi-san felt a little sad. Old man Chi smiled, patted Grandma Chi-san's hand gently, and said, "Don't be disappointed, the younger generations have their own lives, and it is inevitable to fly away. When we are old, we will spend our old age here in secret. At least you still have me." Grandma Chi-san turned her head and smiled happily. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 582. 580. I chose to stay in Kijia village just so that I could be with him in the last stage of my life. Yes, the child has moved away, but at least he is still there. Okay, Grandma Chi-san smiled, let's be happy every day and live a good life. The two old men felt the heat from each other's wrinkled hands, and felt regretful in their hearts, but life was like this, and they were satisfied. Even if his son Chi Shuliang is not in Kijia village, Chi Dazu will take good care of them and be filial to them, so he has no worries at all. Grandma Chi-san was very thoughtful. When her adopted son's family left, and He Tian Tian also left, she asked De Niu Chi's mother, Aunt Lu, to come over to the village to help with cooking and housework, and paid her monthly salary. In this way, she can feel at ease that she is being taken care of by others, otherwise she would feel uneasy. Because of the college entrance examination, Kijiakan Primary School has completely become lively. The young people in the village were very excited. Village Chief Chi asked Professor Wang, and Professor Gu gave them lessons in the evening. Primary school students have to attend classes during the day, and children's classes cannot be suspended just to make up for adults. So Village Chief Chi waved his hand and children had classes during the day and adults had classes at night. There are no electric lights in the classroom, so everyone can only light candles and oil lamps and listen carefully to the teacher's lectures. Professor Wang and Professor Gu looked at the crowded classroom below, and the fire in their hearts was rekindled. Those are pairs of eyes eager to learn, those are pairs of eyes full of hope. Many educated youths in Hujia village, Wangjia village, and other surrounding areas had no hope of returning to their hometowns. After hearing that they could take the college entrance examination, they all went out looking for books like headless flies, hoping to sharpen their skills before the battle, get into college, and leave here. I heard that there are professors here at Kijia Primary School to make up classes, so they all came to listen to the classes. There was no room to sit in the room, so I stood by the window and listened. Huo Yingzhi received 2 sets of tutoring books including the exam syllabus from Yanjing Huo Yingjun. Huo Yingjun was very thoughtful. With He Tianation's temperament, if she only sent 1 set, she would lend it to a friend, so she directly sent 2 sets, contributing 1 set and keeping 1 for herself. Professor Wang was very happy when she got the exam syllabus. With these, she and the old man can give targeted explanations, which can save a lot of time, and at the same time, they can also grasp the difficulty level and teach better. Huo Yingzhi wrote to Mr. Sun, saying that he wanted to enter college. General Manager Sun agreed, and he also suggested that Zhou Yuanchao also go to college, but Zhou Yuanchao was unwilling. Huo Yingzhi's file relationship is still at the Nanxi Weapons Research Institute, and he will be transferred from there after he is admitted to university. Before Huo Yingzhi graduated from university, he enjoyed a special allowance from the Nanxi Institute of Science and Technology. In this case, when Huo Yingzhi goes to college, he will not only receive subsidies from the school, but also a special allowance from the Nanxi Research Institute. Even if you don't work, you don't have to worry about not being able to support your family. He Tiantian and Huo Yingzhi were reviewing at home. Sometimes Wang Lei and others would come to He Tiantian to borrow reference books if they failed to copy the questions in the classroom. They were very serious. You have to work during the day, and you can only study at night. While He Tiantian was studying hard and doing the questions, an uninvited guest came to the house. "Does He Tiantian live here?" a woman's voice sounded outside the door. When he heard that it was a woman, and it was a woman's voice that he had never heard before, Huo Yingzhi, who originally wanted to open the door, went straight into the house. To prevent an unknown woman from always looking up and down after seeing him. Some people's eyes are just looking at you kindly, some people have other ideas. Huo Yingzhi hated that look. When Wang Shuping saw Huo Yingzhi entering the house, she pursed her lips and smiled. This son-in-law was quite interesting. Then she walked to the door and asked, "Who is it?" "It's me, I'm Li Yuanyuan. I'm from the same hometown as He Tiantian," Li Yuanyuan said eagerly. This is her only chance. If she couldn't leave the countryside this time, she would never think of returning to Nanxi in her life. As soon as Wang Shuping heard that she was from the same hometown, she guessed that it was a young man from the city outside. When she opened the door, she was really a young woman, but her face was rather miserable. "Come in, Tiantian is in the house, I'll call her out," Wang Shuping said, letting Li Yuanyuan in. He Tiantian heard someone looking for her and walked out of the house holding her waist. "The woman in front of me looks familiar, but I can't remember where I've seen her before." "Tiantian, you haven't changed after so many years, you are still so beautiful," Li Yuanyuan praised. There was no mistake, it was He Tiantian. He Tian frowned. Who is this? Why can't she remember? You are. He Tian hesitated, afraid of calling the wrong name. Li Yuan said quickly, I am Li Yuan. You know, we got on the train to the countryside together, do you remember? Hearing this, He Tian remembered that on the train to the countryside, all the educated youths on the train were from Nanjing. Among the few who were assigned to Daowen County, there was one named Li Yuan. It seems that Li Yuan was assigned to Gaodaogozi. Because the distance was relatively long, dozens of miles to the east and west of Daowen County, I had no contact with Li Yuan after that. But after so many years, why is Zhou Yuan here this week? I remember, why did you come to see me? He Tian nodded. There would be no reason for not contacting him for such a long time. Li Yuan felt even happier when she saw that He Tian had remembered it. When her eyes fell on He Tian's belly, she was also stunned. You also got married there. He Tian thought about it. She and Huo Yingji got married here, so she nodded and said, yes. Then do you want to stay here for the rest of your life? Don't you want to go back to Nanji? Li Yuan asked eagerly. Now you can take the college entrance examination, and we can pass the exam and leave here. He Tian nodded again and said, I'm also studying. Then can you lend me some materials? Li Yuan said directly, I heard that there is a teacher in your village giving lectures. Can you lend me your notebook? I didn't go to class, I taught myself everything. He Tian said, I remember you seem to have graduated from high school. If you review, you should be able to remember it soon. We have people here who have classes at night, you can go and listen. It's not that He Tian doesn't want to borrow it, but because she wants to see it herself, and at the same time, she doesn't have much friendship with Zhou Yuan. From Lu Lingli, He Tian realized that if you treat some people well, she will definitely remember your kindness. For people you are not familiar with, just keep an unfamiliar distance and that will be fine. He Tian was even more unfamiliar with this Li Yuan. He didn't know what kind of person she was or what had happened to Li Yuan over the years. He Tian doesn't want to know either. Please subscribe for genuine subscription.